Hi, this is Marginoni, and welcome to another edition of The Good, the Bad, and the Disappointing. Now, this is my disclaimer today. I'm in a really foul mood today because I come home and I realize I forgot my cell phone at work. So I go back to work, and then I grab my phone, and I walk out to my car, and I realize I forgot my car keys on my desk. I am not happy in the least. So, let's get on with the good, the bad, and the disappointing. The good. There's actually a lot of good today. I mean, there's a lot of good. So even though I might not represent, I can't represent all of them, I'll point these books out individually in another review because I think that they really do deserve their own props. But for me, New Avengers number 22 really is the one that does it. Why do you ask? This is what we call trash talk beatdown. Basically what happens is, Namor's like, wow, only like, 6 ounces of pressure and bomb went off, boom. And everybody else is like, what the fuck did you do, Namor? You destroyed the goddamn planet. And Namor's like, what's the big deal? It's either us or them, you knew the stakes. You're not, you knew this was going to happen. And, Black Panther just can't take it any longer because he's a little, let's be honest, he's got some issues, daddy issues. So, they start battling. But this is what really does it for me. Not only does the battle basically almost it pretty much dies down. And, Panther's like, you live because of my mercy. If I want you, paraphrasing, if I want you dead, I'll do it anytime. And Namor's like, oh yeah, buddy? Well, if you remember that Infinity thing that we went through, and I came home to Atlantis and saw all my people dead because of you stupid Wakandians, and then Thanos' people came and I said they wanted the stone, and I go, oh yeah, I know where it's at. It's over at Wakanda. And you know what? I'll do it again. Boom, SmackDown. I was freaking happy. I was like, that was freaking awesome. Just Namor basically being Namor. You know what I mean? Namor doesn't always get the proper due, but he is now catapulted into my top 10 characters by far. Because this is the way he should be written. Arrogant, basically unapologetic, and he is just, he's awesome. That's all I gotta say. If you've ever doubted how cool Namor could be, this book fixes that problem immediately for you. Now, the art's decent. The art was very stylistic before, so it kind of goes to a more traditional comic sense. So that's, I think what you're going to find is some people are going to find it a departure from the artistic style, but I think it's fine. For this issue, I think it's perfect because, you really have a guy who's really captured the facial expressions. Look at the way Black Bolt is looking at him, and the Beast, the look of shock and horror. This artist, Walker, he was the guy. He was perfect for this issue. And, granted, this picture is not really that strong, kind of weak, since it almost looks like they're hovering in the air, but overall, and that's a horrible picture too. Regardless, this was my good book, by far. Okay, let's go with the bad. Alright, here's the deal with this. Even though I'm calling this trilogy of terror the bad, if you take out what I think is bad, this is actually really good. What we have here is either a script that had to wrap things up really quickly so that way they can go from A to B to C because their story is too big and they couldn't properly transition, or you have maybe editors or a writer or whoever else is involved. I don't want to put it all on Pac because as you can see, there's other people involved in this mess. But maybe they don't have the ability to know how to properly drag it out. And I hate using the word drag it out, but Manga fans know what I'm talking about, in that in manga they really know how to overdo it in the sense of building the plot and then running with that plot for a long time and then giving it to hopefully a satisfactory conclusion. To really explore characterization and growth and blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the deal here. The art, for the most part, is really solid, I think, in all these cases. I mean, granted, you have issues where you have Superman's costume that's not, you can't break, rip or tear, which is illustrated there. But at other times, it's kind of like you have either artists or colorists who kind of forgot about that. So there's like little inconsistencies like that. Then what you really have also is this is a big whirlpool of plot swirling at the same time. You have the Doomsday plotline, you have Brainiac attacking, you have Lois and her issues, then you have Batman, you have all these other superheroes that are fighting, and it's all going on at the same time. This is kind of like a world invasion type thing. I'll be honest with you, if you were on the fence with this book, what I would probably recommend doing is don't pick up these single issues. Don't start now. Wait for the trades. There'll probably come out a few trades, and then I would go for that because I think what you're going to find is a much more solid storyline where it's going to flow a lot better. Now, here's where I have problems with. Okay, first of all, you have this. I really hate this Cyborg Superman, where he's up in space and he's trying to fight Doomsday Superman, and then Doomsday Superman just takes him to town, just rips his arm out, and then he's like, oh, don't worry, that doesn't really bother me because it's like, all I really did was I just stalled you because what's really going on is Brainiac is really sending his forces down to Earth, and they're taking over things down there, but you're really fighting me up here. And that's what really happens up here. And I'm like, if I was Superman, Doomsday, after that speech, I would have just crushed his head. That simple. Ended it. Then you have the dilemma of, this is Superman and Doomsday, and, he's got, what am I going to do? I'm really the bitter half, and blah, 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 blah. And then because they go through that kryptonite thing, cloud on Earth, and Clark goes out, and then you just get battling. And then you have Hawkman, there's these things everywhere, attacking everywhere. And you have Hawkman going, what are these things? We have to win at all costs because we're the last of us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not the last. I mean, all right, maybe you're the last in this area, but, I mean, clearly there's other people somewhere else, but whatever, Then you have Doomsday Superman jumping from place to place, and, he's not setting the world on fire like he's supposed to be doing, not causing disease and everything else like he's supposed to be doing. Then they give you this global view, and, in some cases I'm like, okay, all right, I get some of the scenery in some cases, but in other cases I'm just kind of like, really, why would you drop off Green Arrow in the desert for? That's really stupid. Then you have a part where you have Wonder Woman who is like, I don't know if this is really Superman or Doomsday, but it doesn't look good, so I'm just going to behead him. And I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. You get the wind up, and then while that sword is coming in, then you have Superman just kind of going, okay, get away, Doomsday, I'm really in charge. And then I'm like, looking through the next panel, and I'm like, the resolution to that sword is right there. I mean, it's really tiny. This is an important moment where he goes, it's all right, Diana, I'm back. And why is that little tiny moment? I mean, that small. It should be much bigger. So again, this leads to, you have this storyline that's kind of big, and you're not properly plotting things out. Now, for the other pages here, then you get, it's going basically from one hot spot to the other hot spot. Here he's in control at the end, but yet in chapter 4, he's still Doomsday, and they're fighting. And then you have, I think, is it in this issue here? There's one part in this whole thing. Okay, Superman is back to normal in this one. That must be in here, where you have Superman, Doomsday, and Lois Brainiac, and they're like talking to each other on some psychic level, and Clark is like, Lois, I believe in you. And then she goes, poosh, right back, and she's Lois Lane. And then she's like, I believe in you, Superman. And then poosh, he's like back to normal again. Well, I'm goofing how quickly that is. Then Krypto is poof, back together again. And Batman and those guys did something else too. So I'm just like, oh. And this here basically is just the continuation of the battle, but they're normal now, and it's just fight, and then you get new villains at the end of this issue. So why do I think it's bad? Like I said, I think there's a lot of good here, but for me, some of the bad, it was just too distracting, and it really dropped the story down for me a lot. Maybe in a trade format it might be better, but I really don't think that, at least for the amount of money that this is putting forth, I don't think I'm getting my money's worth in terms of story. Action, okay, I'll give you that much. There's good action, which leads me to the disappointment, where if talking about money being spent, these original sins have been horrendously disappointing, unbelievably disappointing. This is no exception. Basically what happens is this. You get, the art's okay. I'm just going to get that out of the way. The art's decent. I'm expecting a fight, an awesome fight. Tony's got his Hulk armor on. Hulk comes in and he's smart. You get this, and then the next thing you know, Tony is in busted armor in the middle of the desert where the gamma bomb went off, and they have a conversation. Then we learn what the full sin is. They tease the sin as Tony tampered with the bomb, and that bomb was, whatever he did caused the mishap. That's not the case. This is spoiler time, and I'm spoiling it to prevent you from wasting money. Basically what happens is this. Tony was going to sabotage the bomb. He's drunk, he's a little out of control, not thinking for himself, and what happens is this. He's going over the bomb, and he discovers basically that Bruce's shielding on the bomb is too thick. And because it's too thick, the bomb is actually going to have a bigger explosion, because the bomb, the energy is not going to be able to dissipate quickly enough. It's just going to keep it packed in, and then it's going to cause a bigger chain reaction. So he adjusts that to protect that. And he notices that there was something else that was wrong. So what he does is, while he's drunk, he sends a message to Bruce, like a old internet email type system, chat system. Sends this to Bruce. And Bruce, it's not 100% clear if he remembers this part or not, but Bruce sees the email and deletes it and blocks Tony. So technically, while Tony did tamper with the bomb, he tampered with the bomb to save Bruce's life, save the life of General Ross, save the lives of probably, thousands, tens of thousands of people. But it was because of Bruce's anger towards Tony that he ignored the urgent email that came in and didn't know that there was a problem. And Bruce ultimately is responsible for the creation of the Hulk. That is your sin. Now, I challenge you to tell me that that's a sin, because it's not. That is bullshit. Not bullshit. That's all it is. It is a waste of money. That's what that is. Very disappointed. Very, very, very. That's my good, the bad, and disappointing. Let me know what you thought was your good books, your bad, disappointing books. I'll have more reviews later. So until next time.